For this project, we were really looking into how first responders really communicate during incidents. In this case, we were looking at incidents which would be terrorist, potentially communication failures in terms of cell towers, major disasters that could be natural or human-made, events that just might cause, if enough people are on a cell network, there's potential for that to be clogged up and require that these first responders still communicate. So what we're trying to do is make a wireless router that allows them to continue to communicate, and a mobile application that allows them to follow each other's movements and plan action as they're doing their general duties regarding an incident. The benefit of the system over regular communication is that it allows you to send data messages in terms of text, GPS location, in addition to potentially video and pictures. In this way, the first responders can show what's happening around them and more effectively convey what is needed at that time.
Yeah, so previously some other students worked on this problem, and they mostly were able to come up with a design that looked like this. So this is the design for the mobile router case that they came up with a simple thing, and they had off-the-shelf hardware inside. One of the big challenges with this is to power the device. They had a separate battery which was in some respects bigger than the device itself. And so, this was the current design, kind of carrying these both together. And especially using this, they tried to have a couple different attachment points, but overall it was just very bulky and very, very difficult to use because there's so many different parts, and it didn't fit very well inside there and wasn't a very integrated product.
To really go along with the ideation process, what we did was we took images that we've seen, or different environments that we've seen in pictures and in diagrams that potentially people would be using our routers and our application. And in this case, we were able to extract from those. We would come up with concept sketches on whiteboards and really start to do mappings to see how we would place these devices, and how we would really start shaping it, maybe more organic or more industrial, depending on different environments and different people that would potentially be using it.
And then we also sent out surveys to over 130 different first and secondary responders, and got a lot of information back from them, looking at specifically kinds of incidences, looking at their communication needs and also their equipment preferences. And then we also took some of those first responders and brought them in for interview.
So all these were rapid prototypes, our designs to kind of get a better idea of what they would feel like in the hand and what they represent. So I think that this one helped us realize, we may not be able to get perfect, but we have something to shoot for. So these were very useful in generating the design and helping us understand really what worked and what would be a good trade-off between some of the big difficulties. Battery life was one of the big things, because obviously we don't want to have to carry this. So we ended up kind of merging the designs and coming up with one that represented all the different trade-offs we needed to balance. Especially one of the big ones was our battery life and the size. And so we integrated a battery into the product so that you could actually use it without carrying a separate battery.
So in this case, we looked at having two loopholes to really provide an opportunity for first responders to either attach the router to their belt or to use a strapping system using carabiners or webbing.
So the features that we really looked at implementing, starting with a map. So the map previously just had a map that you could scale, and it would show your location, as well as the location of several other people. And one thing, after talking with many first responders, they wanted the ability to do two different things. They wanted the ability to mark the map themselves with different things. So if they could put little drop pins in there or mark out a different area on the map itself. And the other thing that we looked at was layers. So how do you show and hide different kinds of information depending on what kind of responder you are and what kind of incident you're responding to. There's different kinds of information that are relevant and not relevant. So the ability to show and hide different layers and was something that they absolutely wanted. Not having enough information is an issue, but as well as having too much information is also a major issue as well too.